Hello and welcome back. We are once again continuing on with our Cadian infantry squad here. If you joined us last time, you'll know that we kind of worked on these bases. They look pretty decent for the amount of effort that we put in. They're very quick. It's just some grass and texture paint, basically, if for some reason you missed the last one. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more detail work, just kind of cleaning things up, and we're going to jump right in with our dryad bark. There's kind of a ton of these little belts and parts of the backpacks and like knives and sheaths and all that we really haven't done much with yet, other than just kind of a quick once over. So I think that's kind of going to be the focus, at least for the first part of this. And as always, I'm going to make sure our paint is nice and watered down. And you can see just all over, this guy has these little utility pouches, almost to an annoying degree, unfortunately. But we are going to start tackling them just one at a time here. Nothing too crazy, just very quick once over. And hopefully we can knock out a lot of this. We are pretty close to finishing up, I feel like. I still want to do a wash, and just kind of, generally knock out all of the little details that we can. So it still might be another episode, or we might manage to finish things up this time. Just kind of depends on how quickly we go here. Not that I want to speed along too much, but I really don't want to drag things out more than I have to. But I am still enjoying this, so as long as you guys are still tagging along for the ride, we'll keep chugging along. And of course, one thing that is going to slow us down is the terrible amount of paint that I'm putting on the palette here. I never put enough. It's my unfortunate eternal curse to bear. One day I'll be more liberal with it, and we won't have to refill it every 5 seconds. And I think that pouch right there in the middle was fine. We're going to kind of keep that more tan color. I think that's kind of part of the shirt itself, not the belt. Maybe we'll come back and go over it. Actually, no, never mind. There's a pouch right below it. We'll make this one brown. That's one of the problems I have with these tiny little sculpts, is that they're very detailed, but sometimes the details kind of just blend together, and it's hard to tell what's exactly part of what. Not that that's a bad thing. It does kind of give you a more in-depth overall look. I'll take it. But man, I miss the old Cadian models sometimes. They were so simple. All you had was the flak armor, you had the knee pads, the helmet, boom, you were done. You slap some weapons and some Null oil on that bad boy, and you can knock those out so quickly. These guys are just so much more detailed, and all these little recesses and nooks and crannies you really got to pay attention to. Really, really time consuming in comparison. Unfortunately, this guy has a massive chain sword here, and it kind of blocks our pouch a little bit, so we're going to try to weasel our way back behind that. But if we can't get all of it, I'm not going to worry about it too much. It is kind of in a nice dark recess, so if I didn't have a light shining directly above it, I don't think it's something we'd really see. We do, however, want to follow up with this canvas bag here. It does have some straps that go up and over the chest, and I do kind of want to make sure those are nice and painted. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I'm doing something, whether I'm like playing games or whatever, I do like to have some like background noise going. So I've been watching a ton of these like video game retrospectives, and most of them are like games I've never even like heard of, like old like PS1 games or just really obscure kind of titles. And I end up just getting sucked into these things, and I'll watch one and it'll be like 8 hours of an obscure game that I'll never touch and probably never even think of again. But something about them just really like draws me in. I think it's just being able to shut my mind off for a second and relax to something that I'm never gonna have to worry about. But I've watched a lot of them, recently. It's been kind of like my go-to to relax. And I've been watching some on some newer series as well. I just watched one on The Evil Within, which I actually played both of. I really liked that series actually, and it got me kind of thinking. um, I I don't understand why, but it wasn't too well received when that game first came out. The first one at least, and then the second one came out, and everyone's like, "Man, this is great. This game's so much better." And I don't think the sales were great for either one, so I think that series is kind of dead in the water right now. But I think both games are great. I'm not really sure what people's problem were with the first one. Other than the story was kind of confusing, but it was like that way on purpose, I feel. So it does kind of make me sad that it wasn't too well liked, because I would have loved a continuation more grounded in the gameplay of the first one. Um, I feel like the second one was great, but it's a lot more actiony. It kind of went the same direction as like Resident Evil did. Instead of being a more like horror survival title, it went more towards like actiony, run around, shoot 'em up kind of title. But that's my personal opinion. So there you go. Has nothing to do with Warhammer, but I do run out of things to talk about, unfortunately. I've also been watching some on like the Fear series, the Condemned series, just a ton of these videos, and like it's one of those things where there's so many like similarities between all these series, and eventually you play enough games, it all just kind of blends together. But it's kind of crazy to think about like how many hundreds and hundreds of games are out there, um, that even like have the same genre, and they're just every story is wildly different. And same goes with like books and stuff. Like there's only so many ways you can tell a story, right? At some point we will reach kind of like the apex. Like there's only a finite, if you will, amount of words and ways that you could arrange words. Um, but you just keep seeing these like unique stories kind of pop out, um, and it's so interesting to me to just sit back and listen or watch or whatever, all of these games and just listen to all their stories, and all of them are like so well written, for the most part. There's some stinkers out there, um, and it just seems like the well is unending, right? Like there's always another great story just waiting to be played, and it's kind of crazy to me. But there you go. That's my little rant for the day. It's more like Lego talk at this point. I think we're like 9 episodes in. I'm just kind of words aren't making sense anymore. I'm just fully in depth in the Cadian painting here, and I got it on the last guy, but I didn't really mention it because I was Lego talking. But these little like chin strap kind of deals, I don't know what color they're really meant to be. I just kind of do them brown, just because I think it kind of gives a nice little disconnect from the face itself, and the like shirt collar. Otherwise, they end up looking pretty similar, and it just melts together. So I do like to do that as a kind of darker color. And actually, let me take one more look here. I don't think this is properly painted. That little strap on his gun. I'm glad I caught that. And of course, his oven mitt looks a little bit weird because it's not too nice and clean, but we will try to fix that up. I really hate this guy's glove. I think they look so goofy. It looks like an oven mitt. It looks like he's about to go bake a cake or something instead of, use a lethal weapon of war. But that's just my opinion. This guy will actually... we'll do a quick once over. I still have to do this guy's rifle, unfortunately. I haven't quite gotten to that yet. But we will. We'll do that this time. And then our sergeant, I still have to finish his weapons up. We started that last time. It just seems like it's unending, There's always something new to do with these tiny, tiny models. And it kind of blends in a little bit, but I do want to get this guy's knife. It's actually, I have to turn it a little bit to be able to see where it starts and stops. It blends in so much. It's the problem with doing a base coat all the same color on the entire model for the most part, because once you start doing these details, it can be kind of hard to pick them out. And this flask we're actually going to color probably green, but these little straps on it will be brown as well. I think they're just little bits of leather. So we'll kind of work with that. And then it's a little bit hard to reach, but there is a pouch in the front as well. Just right underneath this arm, if we can get it. Now again, I am using a number 0 brush, so size 0 brush, however you want to say that. I guess that sounds a little bit better. For the majority of this, I was using a size 2, but it's kind of hard to get all these little details with a size 2, so we made the switch. If that's all you have, though, you can do it. You just have to be a little bit more careful and controlling with your brush strokes. But I have done it before. It's not impossible. It's just kind of tedious. We'll get the front of that sheath as well. And I also want to get this buttstock, and that his gloves also need to be done as well. And we're slowly getting to the point of completion here. His backpack's also looking a little bit rough, so we'll give that a once over as well. Oop, if I can avoid dropping the thing. Times like this where my paint handle is sorely missed. I think our next project we might bring it back, just so I can actually hold things again without dropping them. And we also have this glove in the front. And then we'll come back in just a moment and we'll finish up the rest of his rifle. I think I pointed it out in an earlier episode, but this guy's hands are kind of weird. I don't know what it was. If you read the instructions when you're assembling these, it doesn't tell you all of the weapon combinations. They're all numbered, right, when you're cutting them off the sprue. And some of them just aren't included. So you gotta kind of figure it out yourself. And this was one of them. And unfortunately, I don't know if you can see it anymore. His hand doesn't quite connect up all the way, and I just could not get it to stick. So I don't know. It's technically the right set of hands, I think. It was number 28 and 29 or something. So I think they are meant to go together, but honestly, I'm not sure at this point. And I think we have one more guy to do. Maybe. I think this guy is actually pretty well put together. He just has a tiny little bit of gray on his belt I want to fix. And then we can move on to our next color. He also has a little cup on his back, which is a pretty nice detail. We'll do that in silver or something, just to make it stand out a little bit. And I don't want to get his grenade that's meant to be green. I do want to do a quick little once over on his glove, though. It's not quite finished. And I almost missed it. I think I probably did on the other guy. This little neck chin strap thing. It's such an awkward thing to do, just because it goes down and mixes in with that. I don't know what you call it, his shirt collar. So we're just struggling here. I think it's pretty decent. Maybe we'll do a little bit more going down. I don't know. That's pretty decent. Pretty decent. We'll leave that as it is, and then we will kind of come back. I think our next color is going to be silver. I could do green as well if I wanted to get that other guy's rifle real quick, but I think while we have a second, we can finish up our sergeant and get his weapons knocked out. And I don't think I showed it. I am bad. Lead belcher, as always. If we're doing silver, that's usually probably going to be what it is, at least for the intrinsic future, because I don't have another silver. And I've never really had the need to get one. I know there's a couple more out there. If we were going to do some stuff with like edge highlighting on it, or try to do some like shading effects, I'd look into it. But honestly, lead belcher is king for me, and it works. And I'm not going to change it up anytime soon. So there you go. Maybe someday, if enough people complain about it, I guess. And I am so bad with holding these guys, but I think we can salvage it. I just want to get in here and do the muzzle and then the other side of this bolter real quick. It's kind of hard to see back on the inside of this, so I won't focus too much on it. And I actually missed this guy's glove, both of them actually. I'm terrible. I'll do that off camera though. I don't want you guys to have to suffer through that. And then we want to get these teeth. I mentioned it in the last one, and probably the episode before that. I really look forward to doing the teeth on these chainswords. They're just super relaxing to me, and they are super quick and easy. Just like that. So nice. It's like when you like buy a new TV or something and you have that like plastic wrap on the front. That's kind of what I liken it to. It's pulling off that plastic wrap. It's such a great feeling. It's just so easy to do. And we'll even do it on the comeback here. So real quick, a little once over, and boom, nice and easy. There you go. You got your teeth on your chainsword done. And once that dries, maybe we'll come back and do it again just for a good measure. But we also want to get this kind of like engine block thing just above the handle here. And as always, making sure we do nice thin layers. Every time my brush goes off camera, I'm basically refilling my palette and mixing more water in, because I really don't want this metallic paint drying on my brush. It is a bit more chunkier than your standard base layers, and it will ruin your brush very quickly if you let it. So just something to kind of take note of. I think this little circle in the front also needs to be silver. Perfect. We'll come back around. We'll do the other side as well. And there we are. Now he also has this little emblem on the front here. At some point, probably next time, we'll come back and we'll do that with some like brass or like a gold color, just to kind of make him stand out as the sergeant that he is. Make him all nice and decorative. And we'll do the same thing with his little pauldron here. The chevrons, we'll make those nice and shiny too. But I think, for right now at least, this guy's looking pretty good. We'll move on. We'll do some more with these little details, and then we'll call it. And of course, we got to get this guy's cup. Real quick, a little once over. Nice and shiny, really make him stand out. And we want to get the inside of it as well if we can. It's kind of awkward. Oops. It's actually, I have so much water on my brush, it just filled that right up. So there you go. Once that dries, hopefully it'll look a little bit nicer. And we will also do the front of his las gun, just to kind of give it a nice little bit of shine. I do want to do a quick shout out before we end the video here. I do have a Patreon. If you guys want to support the channel, and if you like what you see, feel free to check it out. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe. All of that is good stuff, and it helps me out. Not only through getting your guys' feedback, but also helping out with like channel analytics and statistics and all that. I don't really know how it works. I don't understand YouTube's algorithm just yet, but I think it's good stuff. Just likes and comments and whatnot in general. If you have any models that you want to see, or any painting techniques themselves, feel free to let me know. I will do my best to kind of accommodate. Otherwise, just generally, I hope you guys enjoy watching. And as we kind of finish up here, we'll get that top of the gun real quick. And we'll do the other side, just so people don't get angry at me. Because otherwise, I'm sure I will forget it. Anyway, as we wrap up, really the only thing I have left to say is, as always, thank you guys very much for watching, and hopefully you join me for the next video.